bien. Vamos a empezar. Está muy acá. Evite sus repeticiones como marcador de resultado, un editor de labs. Su madre que sea, pero la verdad me dio cosa. Estoy ajustando la pantalla. Ahí está. Comencemos. Sí. Vamos a comenzar. ¿Qué tal, Mars Morton? Bien. Bien, aquí, mira, empezando. Este juego nuevo. ¿Y tú qué dices? ¿Cómo estás?
When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge.
¿Ya cenaste? ¿Ya tomaste café? ¿O estás tomando café? Yo me estoy tomando un café.
As a man, I could never contain such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? As such,
Don Juan.
are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. Our futures are predestined. Mobius foretold mine eons ago.
¿Ya no tiene una laquita? Sí, es el 2, amigo.
Free will is an illusion.
La versión de Play 2, así es.
How could you profane a priest by turning him into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer. Who better to serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
The Sarafan were saviors, defending Nazgul from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are opened, Kain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my unwilling corpse.
You may have uncovered your past, but you know nothing of it. You think the Sarafan were noble, altruistic? Oh, don't be simple.
Ah, es que siento que se oye muy
Their
despacio,
agenda
¿no?
was the same as ours. You nearly had me, Raziel. But this is not where or how it
Despacio.
ends. Fate promises more twists before this drama unfolds completely.
¿Sabe por qué será? Ya le moví aquí a las configuraciones.
Raziel, Redeemer and Destroyer, pawn and Messiah. Welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny.
Ya le subí al máximo
Where
aquí.
am I? Is the usual question. In your case, when
La
might be
capturadora.
more apt?
Very well, you old snake. If you'd prefer I use my bare hands.
Well, this is completely unexpected. This orb disables our vampire enemies, leaving them helpless and incapacitated. Strangely, it seems to have the same effect on that peculiar weapon of yours. But you must believe me. I mean you no harm.
You can drop the benevolent
Creo que
facade,
ya
Mobius.
se oye más
I know
fuerte,
who
¿no?
and what you are. I should kill you where you stand.
Perhaps you should, my boy. But you don't.
Are you so certain of that, Mobius?
Ya le subí
My role
todo.
as Time Guardian affords me a certain level of omniscience, Raziel. No, you don't kill me. That honor belongs to your maker, Kain, some 30 years from now.
You two are a pair. You're just as fatalistic as he is.
Death comes for us all, Raziel.
A ver, ya
It's just a matter of
le
time.
subí más.
How is it that you know my name? We have never met.
On the contrary, Raziel, I know you very well. And it
Hasta el
grieves
chat
me to see how
tiene
cruelly
audio.
Cain has used you.
La meta
I knew
no.
you when you were one of the Sarafan Brotherhood.
Seguidor
Raziel.
sí.
We were even close.
Oh, please.
Fortunately, you need not love me now to be my ally.
Are we within the stronghold of the Sarafan priesthood?
Yes, but the glorious days of the Sarafan have long since passed.
Pues sí, yo siento que suena bien, pero
This is a more cynical and indecorous age.
es que como
My
no
mercenary
transmito
army
desde
now
el
inhabits
OBS,
this
sino
stronghold.
del Streamlabs,
We strive to
haz
honor
de
the
cuenta
memory
que
of the Sarafan with our own humble
ese programa
crusade.
como que
Is this the vampire Vorador?
Yes, the scourge
ese
of the
programa
sun, the most
este
depraved and decadent example of his whole
Ay, ¿cómo te
degenerate
diré?
race. He slaughtered 6 of my fellow guardians as
hace
they
que
cowered
la
defenseless in
tengo a
this
todo,
room.
pues.
And you somehow
Sí, yo también,
survived
pero
this
¿qué crees
massacre?
que con las
I
actualizaciones
and
que ha
2
habido,
others. The circle was
no
devastated.
reconoce
Only
mi
we 3
tarjeta
were
de
spared.
video?
How convenient. You'll forgive me if I
Consume
don't
muchos
naively
recursos, sí.
devour every scrap of information you toss me. You have a reputation for deceit.
And who has slandered me so? Your malefactor, Cain? The one who betrayed and destroyed you? Our common enemy? Consider the source before you judge me too harshly. We'll forget about rekindling our old friendship then. But consider an alliance based on our common ground. We both want Cain dead. I can help you do it.
You don't want to meddle in this, old man.
Y
I know all about your
sí,
sordid
que te
little
estaba diciendo.
schemes.
Es que
out of your
también
depth,
estoy aquí en el chat.
You underestimate me, Raziel. Let me show you.
Consume muchos recursos. Ah, sí, tío, y
Even
es
now,
que con las actualizaciones
Cain is
del OBS,
lying waiting for you, unaware that
no
I've
reconoce
snatched
mi
you out of
tarjeta de
the time
video.
stream and brought you here to me. See how he lingers at the very
No
pillars
sé
he
por
is
qué.
destined to destroy.
Y de hecho le dije a mi
Foolishly
cuñado y
confident that he
vino
has
mi cuñado
eluded
y
your
la
grasp.
revisó y me
The
bajó ahí
pillars are
unos
still
programas
standing
para
in this time.
precisamente
Yes,
checar
Raziel. They are the embodiment of the divine force which preserves the life of our world. We
Es
who
una
serve the
envidia
pillars maintain a delicate balance, and Cain
no sé
is
qué.
destined to be the fulcrum upon which that balance turns.
Y de hecho no nada más me
I
pasó a
believe
mí,
you have already
hay
endured
muchos
the
en-
wasteland wrought by his
a mi
terrible
cuñado
selfish
también.
decision. Cain's very existence is a cancer upon this
mira,
world.
administrador de
As
tarea,
long as he lives,
rendimiento,
All of Nosgoth is in peril. You may never again be
Ay, es que aquí no está. Es una Nvidia GeForce GT 710 de 2 GB.
And the nobility of your Sarafan heritage. Go to him, Raziel, and end this.
De
But
2
first,
GB.
you will need to find your way out
Con
of
el
the
GPU
stronghold,
compartida
and in
llega a
this,
6.
I'm afraid I cannot help
Con la
you.
memoria del GPU.
My
No, de la
soldiers will not
memoria de la
understand your
GPU
appearance
es 8
here. They will
GB.
try to
Con
kill
la
you.
compartida son
You
6.
needn't fear them, of course. They're no match for you. Try to keep the
Pero te digo, no sé por qué no la reconoce OBS.
All great
Y por eso opté por el Streamlabs. Porque esa sí la reconoce y me permite hacer así la transmisión y la grabación. Y ya no tengo que usar la GPU del procesador. Bueno, sí, pero compartida, pero no directamente como el Streamlabs. Se rasca la chompeta. A ver, aquí silencio. Es que ya... Guardia. Ataque. Brinco. Cámara. Para moverse. Luego tomé agua de piña y la piña me da agruras a mí bien feo. Aquí no hay nada. Espérame, es que estoy en el chisme. Ya. Sostén. No mames, ¿para qué la avientas, güey? ¿Cómo estás, todos? Raziel. Ya, José Luis, ¿cómo estás? Es que estoy aquí en el chisme también, en el WhatsApp. Es que me está platicando una, señora, bueno, de las que conocí ahí en el cine, que su cuñada se mató, ¿tú crees? Se ahorcó. ¿Se escuchó mal mi audio? 1, 2, 3, probando. Ahí. Es que desde hace rato me dijeron que se oía mal, güey. A ver si oye ahí bien. A ver, ahí se oye bien. 1, 2, 3. Ya me oigo bien. Sí, te digo que me estaba platicando que se ahorcó su cuñada, güey. Se ahorcó y No, pues es lo que estoy aquí en el chisme, por eso también no avanzo en el juego. Don Juan se espantó también. No, es que mira, lo voy a escribir acá. La chava se llama Chío. Bueno, la tienen como Chío. Le voy a leer el WhatsApp. O sea, me pregunta, dice: hola Marco, ¿cómo estás? Don Juan. Digo, bien, ¿y tú cómo estás? No hay chamba para mí. Dice: deberías de ver a Lick. Va a contratar. Y ya no. Y dice: bueno, me preguntó por mi mamá y ya todo. Digo que mañana voy a ir a Morelos. Se puso a trabajar en Matute. Y sí, dice: ¿te acuerdas de mi cuñada? Cuando me diste unas cortesías, por cierto, que ni te di la coca. Digo, sí. Digo, ¿qué le pasó? Dice: se ahorcó. Digo, no inventes. A ver, bueno, vamos por partes. El 5 de marzo, pues su marido la había corrido, o sea, su hermano de ella. De esta chava, de la Chío, la corrió a esa. Y duró 15 días fuera, pero nunca supieron dónde estaba hasta que un viernes vinieron a avisar. Y ya le digo: no le hagas, porque no soportó estar solita, ¿no? Hijos de... ¿Y eso que es? No es el dios de la guerra. Sí, yo creo que sí le dio depresión a partir de su separación. Sí, se ponen locos. Se tenía muchas broncas con su hijo. Y sí, una vez me platicó de su hijo, de esta señora. Bueno, de su cuñada. Que sí la trataba mal y era medio chemo y cosas así, ¿no? De chavos de ahora. Dice, sí, dice. Pues sí. Dice, sí, estuvo gacho, pero pues ni modo. Ya me envió un video de aquí. Hay de chemos a chemos. Pues sí. Realmente sí. Voy a mover mi de esta para acá. Porque si no, no veo mi sangre. Hermana de mi esposo. Ah, ching. Ah, ya. Ah, no, sí es pero, sí es hermana de su esposo de aquí, de su esposo. Sí, ¿tú crees? Y ya hasta ahí se quedó, ya nada más me puso, va, es buena onda, dice, ya puso a trabajar al matute. Nada más, hasta ahí se quedó. Pero sí, cabrón. Por eso estaba yo acá en el chisme. No, ya está. Bueno, pues yo creo que como 36, 37, porque esta chica, bueno, señora, pues, la que me platicó, tiene 38. Es 2 años menor que yo ya tengo 40. Me imagino que su cuñada está chavita. ¿Cómo no? Después, pues, chavita. Pues sí está cañón ese pedo de la depre. Porque pues sí les te da y depende, bueno, cada quien. Y siguen teniendo 18. Pues sí. A ver, voy a ver si puedo poner la imagen. Para que la conozcan. Pero no sé dónde se guardan, cabrón. No, mejor no, porque si se hace viral, no, pues va a ser viral. No, hijas, te van a ver. Sí. Que consigue un arma, ¿no? Ya está otro. Y ahí hay otro. No mames, pues si le estoy pegando, no me estoy moviendo. Órale. Hija, una por una y van a ver cómo les va. Les voy a dar hasta para llevar. ¿Cómo? No mames. Dígale, pinche vampiro fronterizo. todavía me dejaron. Ahora sí, verás. Esto sangre. No te vayas. Que mejor las mato primero. Sí, esa fue la historia de la chica que se ahorcó el 5 de marzo. Voy a hacer un podcast de terror, así de... Es que me platicaron. A ver, déjame ver cómo se apunta. Órale, por güey. Ah, no mames. Ah, doble. Este güey sí era espadachín. Pero si se oye bien el audio. Siento que no. Ah, no, sí está bien. Y ahora... después de haber masacrado a estos güeyes, que también me dieran mis madrazos.
As I neared the stronghold's inner sanctum, a strange sensation crept over me. An indescribable feeling of displacement, a sense of vertigo, as reality itself appeared to warp and bend around me. The disturbance seemed to emanate from the sanctuary's furthest chapel. As I cautiously approached, the sense of dislocation intensified with each step.
Don Juan.
So this was the tomb of the beloved King William the Just, beatified here as the martyr and catalyst of Mobius's crusade. I was reminded of Kain's journey as a fledgling vampire, how Mobius coerced him to travel back in history and assassinate William, thus igniting a genocidal hatred of vampires among the citizens of Nosgoth. And here I discovered the source of the displacement. The Soul Reaver itself, laid out like a holy relic, and broken, apparently in the battle between William and Kain. I had not thought such a thing was possible, until, of course, Kain shattered the blade against me when he tried to strike me down. Thus, the captive spirit inhabiting the Reaver was released, and binding itself to me became my symbiotic weapon. And so the Reaver met its former self, still imprisoned in this corporeal shell. I watched, mesmerized, as the Wraith blade uncoiled itself and snaked down the length of the physical blade. Embracing its twin, its mirror self, the Reaver's long-dormant spirit was now fully aroused. And for the first time, I felt the true presence of this other entity. Willful, ravenous, and deranged from thousands of years of imprisonment. The Reaver was now in command, and I, now merely its helpless host, felt my soul being leached to restore the blade. But the Reaver knew better than to destroy its host, and just as I neared the brink of oblivion, the blade released its hold on me. As I recovered, I realized we were now bound together in a fragile alliance. The Reaver no longer
Ahí está
merely
el
my
ese, güey,
symbiotic
¿cómo se llama
weapon,
ese?
but a sentient parasite competing for control.
Ah, el que lo recibió ahorita, no Prator, creo se llama ese güey.
What have you done to me, Mobius? Is this your trap?
How mine? Don't forget it was Kain who led you here, not I.
Está cañón.
Curse me. The only soul in Nosgoth ready to guide and assist you. Kain laughs at our folly and revels in your dismay.
These blades, now coiled in sinister embrace, have inspired terror in the hearts of creatures far more durable than you, old man. Bound together as they are, I can only imagine what they could do to your soul's fragile shell.
Raziel, I beg you to stay your hand. This was none of my doing. I have sought only to aid you in your righteous quest.
Why, you're trembling, Mobius. Has your confidence abandoned you? You seem to have made a fatal error by leaving your precious staff behind. Is that where all your courage comes from?
Listen to me, Raziel. You don't know what you're doing. I have taken an enormous risk by appearing here before you, so defenseless, yet eager to prove my good intentions. If there's anything left of the Seraphim in you, you won't do this. While you threaten me, your true enemy eludes you.
Don't concern yourself with Kain, old man. He'll join you in hell soon enough. As you said, death comes for us all.
Yes, the wheel of fate demands it.
What did you say?
The wheel of fate.
Sí.
The inexorable cycle of death and rebirth to which all men are compelled. We serve the same God, Raziel. To strike me down would be striking God's own attendant. And I don't believe even you would take that risk.
I tire of your games, Mobius. Now that I know you fear me, I needn't concern myself with you. Kain is waiting for me.
Go then, Raziel. Seek Kain out and destroy him in the name of the one God we both serve. You, who were once a Seraphim priest, murdered, profaned, destroyed, and reborn again from his mercy. You are now most powerfully equipped to be his agent, his instrument of restoration and retribution.
My own vengeance is motivation enough.
No habías hecho
By my
llave.
soul, you almost had me, my little blue assassin. But that'll be the one and only chance you get. I assure you of that.
I could now summon the blade at will, regardless of my strength. But once summoned, the blade's ravenous appetite could not be contained. It devoured the souls of its victims, and if I allowed it to become over-aroused, the Reaver would now turn its hunger on me.
Ah, ya me quitaron sangre. ¿Por qué? Pues sí. Pues no chinguen. Ah, este ya se movió el tiempo. Ah, no.
So this was the legendary Janos Ordrin, reputed to have been the most ancient and diabolical vampire to have ever existed. According to folklore, he lived high in the cliffs of Nosgoth's northern mountains and preyed mercilessly on the defenseless villagers below. His reign of terror ended when the Sarafan finally hunted him down and tore his throbbing heart from his still-living body.
Son los que...
This relic came to be known as the Heart of Darkness,
and was supposedly imbued with the power to restore vampiric unlife. The Seraphim therefore guarded it carefully, lest the heart fall into the hands of their enemies. But I wondered, could Janos Ordrin truly have been as monstrous as depicted here? Or was this merely artistic license by the Seraphim, who sought to lionize themselves by demonizing their darkest enemy?
Son los Seraphim los que hicieron su desmadre. Bueno, todos, tanto los vampiros como... Necesito un arma acá. Ah, no mames. Ah, pero usarla me consume energía también. Chinga, y la espada que trae ese güey, aquí está.
Strange how my history came full circle. This chapel, I realized, was a memorial to my former Seraphim brethren and myself. All of us martyred here, and then so cruelly profaned by Kain when he imposed his gift on our noble corpses. For the first time, I beheld the image of my Seraphim self, memorialized here among my fallen comrades.
Ahí está él con la Soul Reaver cuando era un humano y era un Seraphim.
Of loss and betrayal welled up in me, so overwhelming I could barely contain it. All I wanted at this moment was to find Kain and destroy him.
Es tiempo de encontrar a Kain y destruirlo. Ah, que tú. Yo que quiero ser bueno, güey. Ahora se supone que tengo que subir. Debe haber alguna forma. No, por aquí ya vine. Es que como no hay mapa, no hay A ver, ¿dónde estoy? Seraphim Stronghold. ¿Es D o P? Sepa la madre si era P o D. Entonces tengo que subir. Más por aquí, pues avísenme. Está bonito visualmente, está muy bien logrado. Mucha arquitectura gótica. Ah, chinga. Yo vi que se abrió una puerta aquí arriba. Ya regresé a donde empecé. Te damos la bienvenida a la sala de chat. Ah, pues aquí está. Che madre. Estoy ciego, cabrón. Supone que ya estamos en el...
I emerged, and for the first time beheld Nosgoth in its full
En
glory.
Nosgoth.
The land overflowed with abundant life and vitality, and I knew with certainty then that the world I had left behind was nothing more than the corpse of Nosgoth, a lifeless husk bled dry by the corruption of Kain's parasitic empire. This was the fragile world Kain sacrificed to preserve his own petty life and ambition, heedless of the profound cost. The sight only deepened my resolve. I sensed that the pillars
Se ve bien
lay
chingón
to
el
the
edificio.
west. If Kain truly waited to confront me there, I would not disappoint him.
Ahora vamos para acá. Es que este es 3D, pero la cámara para moverla hay que apretar el R2. Hay que ir para allá, pero no creo que se pueda.
As I passed this arcane landmark, a wisp of the Reaver's energy was drawn into the ring, illuminating it. This created a beacon of sorts in the spirit world. If ever I found myself depleted in the spectral realm, and my soul tossed on the ethereal winds, these beacons would draw me back to safety and restore me.
¿De qué? Ahí está, señores, ahí está. Ahora. Aquí está apagado. Ah, que la ch... Hay que ir para acá. Luego para acá.
These ancient obelisks were mysteriously attuned to my spiritual essence. By simply touching the symbol, I could safely preserve an imprint of my soul, and thus create a milestone to which I could return when weary, and from which I could resume my journey.
En pocas palabras, esta madre sirve para salvar el juego. Para conservar su alma, dice. está, ya fue salvado el juego, el progreso. Avancemos, pero me imagino que tengo que para acá.
While I had only just escaped the stronghold, I sensed that in time my journey would return me full circle to this place. Infiltrating the fortress, however, would be no small feat. The balcony that had provided my escape was now well beyond my reach, leaving this massive gateway as the only means of entry. The gates were sealed, but like the time-streaming chamber I had seen earlier,
hay que ir por
their
una madre
operation
para
was
abrir esa
undoubtedly
puerta.
linked to that odd crystal mounted above the entrance.
Die, fiend!
Ya le voy agarrando la onda. Cámara, déjate venir. Hija de... Te vas a ver, culé. La otra. Aquí la canción. Mira, ni le pegó. Pues está empalado. Pensé que era un enemigo. ¿Cómo cargan ese poder? Y yo no lo tengo. Ahí vamos avanzando poco a poco. Sube y trae escopeta. Un mosquetón. Esos cuervos o quién sabe, como que se fantasmizan. Pinche perro. quién sabe qué pex. Unos de repente se ponen rabiosos y unos no. A ver aquí qué vamos a hacer. Sí, güey, comiendo. Está chido, güey, pero el PEX es la jugabilidad, güey. Que sí está cañón. Está Nada más por el, te digo, por el ataque, güey. Que son los gatillos. Si fuera lo tradicional del X, del cuadro y triángulo, no mames, lo hubieran pelado. Pero de que está chingón, está chingón.
These vampires had nothing in common with the deranged jackals I left behind in Kain's derelict empire. They seemed to retain much of their former humanity. In this era, vampires were clearly not the uncontested predators we had been. These creatures were hunted mercilessly and oppressed.
Yo creo que voy a convertir este canal en... Voy a hacer otro, pero de puro Play 2, ¿cómo ves?
There was nothing noble or righteous in this crusade.
Y ya voy a hacer otro más bien y dejar de puro juego retro y hacer otro para jugar Fortnite y Minecraft. Ay, joder, me agarró en la... ¿Dónde mi espada? Sí, güey, ¿cómo ves? Claro, también depende, ¿no? Cuántos usuarios haya. Es que es mantén cuadro para operar. Es que no le leí, cabrón.
The pillars of Nosgoth.
Los pilares de Nosgoth.
Whole and uncorrupted. I had never beheld them in this undefiled state, yet something profound and indelible resonated within me at the sight. And there, waiting at the very heart of the pillars, was the canker that was destined to destroy them.
Se van a poner a platicar sobre el pedo que hubo.
I know you're there, Raziel.
Mobius led me to you, Kain, though I might have guessed you'd meet me here.
And if Mobius told you I was hidden on the underside of hell, would you throw yourself into oblivion to pursue me? Mobius trawls for the ignorant and unwary, hauling his gasping prey from the streams of their destinies. Stay out of his net, Raziel.
Spare me your elaborate metaphors, Kain. I have pursued you here for one purpose. You will pay for your betrayal, and balance will thus be restored to Nosgoth.
And whose will is satisfied then? The will of Raziel or Mobius?
Would I be better manipulated by you, Kain? Now, turn and face me. The chase is over.
This isn't a chase, Raziel. We are merely passengers on the wheel of destiny, describing a perfect circle to this point. We've been brought here for a reason. I've seen the beginning and the end of our story, however, and the tale is crude and ill-conceived. We must rewrite the ending of it. You and I.
Don Juan.
Face me, Kain. Even you shouldn't die a coward's death.
Isn't it customary to grant the condemned a final request?
I recall no such courtesy from you.
Indulge me, Raziel. All I ask is that you listen. This is the sublime moment of our undoing, Raziel. The ineffable fulcrum upon which swings the entirety of our history. This is where all of Nosgoth is betrayed. In this instant, Ariel, the Balance Guardian, is murdered by dark forces bent on overthrowing the Pillars. Her spirit is just now tearing free, lost in the ether, trying to find its way here. You have already seen how she comes to haunt these Pillars.
Bound here by your refusal to die. You are the reason this land becomes diseased. As long as you remain alive, you condemn Nosgoth to an eternity of decay.
Be still, Raziel.
Pues no sé qué hice.
See this. As Ariel dies, I am being born to take her place as Balance Guardian. Such is my destiny.
Ese Don Juan si sabe manejar o trae un trailer. Ese pinche trae trailer ese Juan, güey.
At the moment of my first cry, Ariel's beloved, the Guardian Nutraptor, finds her corpse. Racked with grief and tormented by suspicions of treachery, Nutraptor plunges into
Trae
a
un
madness
pinche
which
trailer,
overflows and
Don
infects
Juan.
all of the Guardians who are symbiotically bound, including me. The repercussions of Ariel's assassination were expertly calculated. The entire circle descends into madness, and I am tainted at the moment of my birth, instantly rendered incapable of fulfilling the role destiny
Estaba medio
has
pendejón,
prepared.
¿no? Pinche
Shall I
Juan.
show you the same mercy
Con
you
tantos
showed
años
the rest of the
manejando y-
circle, then? You blithely murdered them
Y
to restore
se
their
vino a
peace, yet your hand faltered when it came to the final sacrifice.
No,
What makes you exempt, Kain? You're merely the last man standing. Why condemn me for simply carrying out what you hadn't the courage to do yourself?
Let's
¿Te
drop the
imaginas?
moral
Bueno,
posturing, shall we?
¿cómo madre se fue a
We both know there's
pegar,
no
güey?
altruism in this
Teniendo tanto
pursuit.
pinche
Your
espacio ahí en la
reckless
calle y...
indignation led you
A mí se me hace
here.
que lo hizo
I
adrede el
counted
güey.
on it.
O está pendejo.
Shame in it, Raziel. Revenge is motivation enough. At least it's honest. Hate me, but do it honestly. 30 years hence, I am presented with a dilemma. Let's call it a
Ya, Don
two-sided
Juan.
coin.
Eso está
If the
pendejo.
coin falls one way, I sacrifice myself and thus restore the pillars. But as the last surviving vampire in Nosgoth, this would mean the annihilation of our species. Mobius made sure of that. If the coin lands on the reverse,
Ya se enojó el Don
refuse
Juan.
the sacrifice and thus doom the pillars to an eternity of collapse. Either way, the game is rigged.
We agree then that the pillars are crucial and must be restored.
Yes, Raziel. And that's why we've come full circle to this place.
So after all this, you make my case for me. To end this stalemate, you must die so that new guardians can be born.
regulars don't belong to them, Raziel. They belong to us.
Your arrogance is boundless, Kain.
There's a third option. A monumental secret hidden in your very presence here. But it's a secret you have to discover for yourself. Unearth your destiny, Raziel. It's all laid out for you here.
You said it yourself, Kain. There are only two sides to your coin.
Apparently so. But suppose you throw a coin enough times. Suppose one day it lands on its edge.
Ya después de haberle dicho que cómo es que se corrompieron los pilares en toda la historia, ya podemos proseguir.
I didn't know what impulse stayed my hand, why I had so willingly allowed Kain to escape me when I had pursued him for so long. I had no reason to trust Kain after he had valued me so little, and yet I found myself intrigued by his words. I had been too cruelly used to so gullibly play his pawn, but if this world truly had secrets to divulge, I was determined to expose them.
Ya aquí hasta se ven más chidas las calaveras. No pasó, no salió. Sostén. Círculo para comer. Digerir. Chinga. Ah, estoy ahí. Te iba a decir, no, ¿dónde estoy? Cabrón. Ah, la pinche meta estorba. ¿Dónde? A ver, espérame. Está la meta. La voy a mover de ahí. La voy a pasar para acá. A ver, ahora sí. Y así ya. Pero ahora no veo qué dice ahí.
From the moment of my arrival, I had the constant and palpable sensation of being watched. Someone, it seemed, was keenly interested in my presence here.
Creo que hay así. Es no sé para qué son si no te ayudan, no sirven de nada. Creo que es como que nada más para marcar el mapa donde andas. Se supone que estamos aquí, tenemos que pasar por acá, por acá, por acá, por acá. De allá tenemos que llegar aquí. Ah, no pasamos ahí los pilares. Ah, pinche meta. Deberían de seguirme para quitarla ya. Ahí está. Los pilares, sí son los pilares. Entonces la brújula no sirve para nada.
From the look of it, this door had been sealed for centuries. I began to realize it was no mere coincidence that I found myself standing here, beneath this winged figure with blue skin and cloven hands so like my own, and bearing this unique key.
Está una llave.
And so it was with a sense of gravity and trepidation that I unsealed that ancient door and crossed the threshold.
Ah, no mames. Y eso ni siquiera son almas. No son así como espectros. Tengo que dejar de usar a la Soul Reaver, si no me va a cargar la Santísima de Santas. A ver, aquí.
As I entered the chamber, I sensed that it had been sealed for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. And while this room was clearly built when the pillars were erected, I knew that no human hand could have shaped this place, and that perhaps it had never been seen by human eyes. The surrounding murals depicted a winged race, their features so like my own, but beautiful, where mine were grotesque, and angelic, while mine were demonic. I tried to decipher these images. A great war, but with combatants like none I had ever seen. The pillars, raised by this winged race, who thus defeated their adversaries. The winged beings again, writhing in agony, apparently afflicted with the same bloodthirst I had so recently suffered. And throughout the chamber, inscribed everywhere, images of the Reaver itself. Was this what Kain had urged me to discover? I wondered.
Lies, Raziel.
Es el dios, ¿no? ¿Tú lo jugaste en el castellano? ¿En castellano? Es que yo o sea, sí lo es que yo lo tengo, pero es físico, güey. Ya nada más lo pasé así aquí al programa. O sea, tengo el 2 y el 3. Bueno, el 1, el 2 y el 3. Por eso está en inglés.
Do not be insolent, Raziel. I am eternally present here and everywhere, now and always. I am the still center of the turning wheel.
Ahora y siempre, por siglos de los siglos, yo soy eterno. Puedo estar aquí, allá. Pues ese güey es el dios.
I no longer seem to need you. Yet I'm guessing you still need me.
This impudence is unworthy of you, Raziel. Do not forget that you have a task to fulfill here. You are indebted to me.
Indebted? You would have me show gratitude for a gift I didn't ask to be bestowed. Do you forget that you forced me to inhabit this vile carcass?
I restored you to yourself, Raziel. It
¿Ya
was
viste que ahí
Kain
están los
who
pilares
destroyed
también?
you. The very enemy you've just let slip through your grasp. Do not fail me, my servant.
I serve no one. Not you, not Kain, and not your lackey Mobius.
¿No te latió?
Mobius is my good servant.
Pues está chido,
I
güey.
have many.
Pues está... Es que necesitas jugar también el 3, güey, para que ya le veas el sentido al final. Sí, se automata.
But beware.
Hace la autosuicidancia.
Is to invite poison into your heart.
Como la chava.
Kain is a
Pero
serious
mira, el
beast.
dios...
He will seduce and deceive you.
Sí, con la Soul Reaver.
You pride
Lo que pasa es
yourself on
que
your free will, yet you let that
la
degenerate
Soul Reaver
deter
de
your
este
resolve.
mundo no detectó la presencia de Raziel, porque todavía no estaba su alma adentro. Ah, ¿sí lo jugaste? Ah, pues ahí está.
These are the fathomless truths, Raziel. The agony of birth and death and rebirth.
Entrégate las sábanas.
The purifying cycle which sustains all life. Vampires are an abomination, a plague which leeches this land of its spiritual strength. They obstruct the flow of life and death. Their souls stagnate in their wretched corpses.
2,
But
3.
the wheel must turn. Death is inexorable and
Ah, sí
cannot
me digo
be
fuerte. Yo
denied.
pensé que no.
Your destiny is irresistible, Raziel. You are my Soul Reaver, the scourge
You
of the
are
vampires,
my Soul
reaper of their
Reaver.
apostate souls. Remain steadfast. End the vampire's parasitic curse and restore Nosgoth. Kain's blood belongs on your hands.
Kain indeed deserves to die.
Aquí ya se ve más
Condemning
chido,
to
¿no?
this repugnant form. But if
Nada más
and
que se ve
when
azul
I
y en
kill
el 1 me acuerdo que se veía
it will be
verde.
for me alone to decide.
Kain destroyed you without a flicker of remorse. He tore the soul from your noble corpse. And after you had served him faithfully for
¿Y te acabaste el 3 o no?
years, he discarded you in the abyss on a jealous whim. Remember your rage, Raziel. Let it guide your hand.
Este también lo voy a jugar, güey, terminando este. ¿Cómo ves? Sobreescribir. Nada más que consume un chingo de memoria, güey. ¿Quién sabe por qué? Ay, ya se están yendo. Ya me voy. Hay 2 espectadores. Spectre 7. Hijo de... ¿Cómo es que me atinan? El Nuprator, ¿no? Porque te encuentras con los Los vampiros. Ah, ya me caí otra vez. Es que en este viaja al pasado y vuelve a viajar otra vez al pasado. Y en el 3 viaja todavía más al pasado, güey, cuando era humano. Bueno, en este también. Pero en el 3 viaja casi como que al inicio de todo el pedo. Me van a matar estos güeyes. Me voy. Sí, güey. Pues te digo, en este viaja al pasado. Y ahorita lo que el desmadre que haga, todavía va a viajar más al pasado, güey. Y todavía cuando se enfrenta a su yo del pasado, todavía viaja todavía más al pasado, güey. Está bien. Está bien loco. Digo, no estamos spoileando el juego, ¿no? Porque ya todo el mundo se las sábanas.
I surfaced into a very different landscape. The daylight barely penetrated the dense canopy of this forest. Here I discovered
del
an
día
ancient
es
ruin,
demasiado
unmistakably one of Mobius's
difícil
time-streaming
que entre en
chambers,
este
but
bosque
long
tan
ago sealed and abandoned to the encroaching swamp. I
tan
didn't currently
abultado.
possess the means to break this seal, but I thought in time that I might.
Ah, no mames. No me chingó esta. Sí, a fuerza. Ah, de hecho ya me voy a ir. Hoy voy a acabar temprano. Porque voy a ir a arreglar mis cosas, güey. Para irme a Morelos. Ah, pues el este es tóxico, ¿no? Vengador tóxico. Yo me acuerdo que había cosas por aquí. Madres. Ese güey es el malo. Es el que dices, ¿no?
My lurking observer was exposed.
Es el diablito ese que se ve videos y se pone a reír.
And his features were distinctive enough. This was the
Que
vampire
aprieta su
Vorador,
botón.
the monstrous assassin depicted in the stronghold. Strange that a creature brazen enough to assault the circle single-handedly would avoid confronting me. Very well. If Vorador would not come to me, I would go to him. But first I needed to find some means of reaching that terrace.
Ese Don Juan es un loquillo. Pinche Don Juan, ¿por qué fue a chocar? A ver si nos explica el güey. Ay, hija de... Ah, culera. Cámara, vente. De hecho, ahorita tengo que llegar ahí arriba donde estaba el diablito ese loco. Chingado, no lo veo. Ah. Y con este salvado, jóvenes, yo me retiro porque mañana tengo que salir. Te voy a arreglar mis cosas, Si no le seguía. Tengo que arreglar mi ropa porque no sé cuántos días. Yo creo que vamos a estar el lunes. Regreso. Y ahí nos vemos. Muchas gracias por su atención. Síganme, los que no me siguen, síganme. Está en... Cuídense mucho, nos vemos hasta que se vuelva a repetir. Échenle ganas y síganme. Si hay alguien viéndome que no me sigue, síganme. Sale pues, cuídense mucho. Nos vemos. Hasta luego.